following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
To the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Yo, it's the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and this is our Positively Pipeman segment here on Monday. We're going to talk about some cool business stuff and why business owners should buy, or whether they should buy or rent commercial buildings. You know, most business owners rent. Are you really doing the right thing? Isn't it the same as if you are renting or buying a house? Let's find out later in the show. But right now, we want to find out about our pipe nuts and the pet health guru, because we're going to talk about some superhero stuff. Oh, no, it's not superhero stuff. It's superfoods. Might as well, because superfoods make humans superheroes. Let's find out if superfoods make pets super pets. Come on down. That was your cue a while ago, Studio Nut, to bring you all on.
Oops.
Wait, were you on? Listen, the question that Rebel asked before the show. Okay, so let's either get us in a row or get rid of that top part cutting my head off. There you go. So that question in the beginning of the show that Rebel that was posed to me, that I posed to Rebel, really applies to you, and that's why you brought it up.
I think you have a bit.
Were you not paying attention, Rebel? Were you not paying attention? Okay.
Follow.
He was asking because I was seeing a spinny circle if I was on LSD. I posed that it only would happen in your studio based on that green screen that you had going on before. And then now he doesn't even take my tip for how to bring you guys on. So he's really the one. Since he brought it up, like it's kind of like whoever smelt it, dealt it. Well, there you go.
I am on some medication though today.
Oh yeah, is it anything good? Do you want to share with the rest of the class?
It is the good stuff. I am not going to share with the rest of the class. It's expensive.
Oh, tell us what it is.
It's just some painkillers because I kind of broke my pinky toe over the weekend.
Oh, you poor little baby. Okay? Listen, I was your age. I broke my pinky toe. I still went to the softball game. You're sitting here taking drugs.
Yeah, it's the world that we live in, right?
It's just your pinky toe, man. Toughen up, man.
Well, they say you cannot walk without it, so.
Well,
your balance will be totally off.
And that must be you, Pet Health Guru, with all that noise in the background. We don't want to hear somebody else's show during this show.
There shouldn't be any here.
Yeah, we're hearing the customers.
There's no customers today. That's got to be staff. I have to yell at them about that.
Yeah. See if you can get rid of that background noise.
Olivia, I want to be quiet.
Okay, let's see what happens. Hold on.
Tell her to be quiet. Picking it up.
Everybody be quiet. Quiet on the set. Like, that's what you need to. Yeah, what needs to be done, okay? You might want to pay attention to the business part of the show, Bill, because what needs to be done is you have to, before you do your show, just walk in and yell, quiet on the set.
Some people don't understand that. Their mouth just keeps going.
Oh, don't I know it? There's some that I wish it would never be going again. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, and look at Rebel. she's looking so good where she has 2 different hairstyles today.
Yes.
One where it's like tight, looking like it's in a ponytail, and one where it's all 80s hairdo.
Yeah, with a tinge of green.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And I want to know, is that what it looks like in Louisiana, Rebel? Because I don't know. I've never seen anything look that good in Louisiana.
Maybe down on the bayou, but not here.
That does not look like a bayou, okay? Where's, the swampland and the alligators?
Way over that way.
And I hate to tell you, you're using a background, okay? You stole it, okay? It says where you're not. Did you read what it says on the background? Are you surfing today, Rebel? I want to know.
No.
Are you?
I was planning for your trip. I'm looking forward for you to go to that new surfing spot.
Well, that's not new. That's Huntington Beach, so that's not new. It's like the most famous surfing spot in the world. But okay. Now that I've successfully gave you all shit, let's talk good stuff. Superfoods for pets. What is that all about, Bill?
It's the same as superfoods for people, which means essentially, I love the change in the background now.
Yeah, it looks like she's in a prison.
They put me up against the wall, so I figured, why not?
Absolutely. Superfood is really, if you stop and think about it, that should be real food. Clean, natural, not ultra processed, not all this garbage that's on the supermarket shelves and, in the pet shops and that sort of thing. Let's start with the basics. First off, we got pets that are carnivores. Why do we feed them wheat and rice and cornmeal and soybean?
Doggy donuts.
Yes, exactly. So we have to look at the species appropriateness of it. But superfoods in both people and pets are basically the same. It's clean food, clean fats, clean protein, grass-fed, grass-finished, pasture-raised, good clean eggs, not run through Clorox and, radiation like all the supermarket eggs are. You wonder why those yolks are so pale? It's the Clorox. And, of course, that's why you can't digest them very well.
Oh, at first I thought you said, do you know why the jokes are so pale? And I thought it was because they're not eating superfood.
Well, that's true, too. They just fall flat. But there's a number of good superfoods that, very, very specific things that are very high in, things like, the good omegas and the vitamins and the minerals. Minerals are probably the most important part of that because everything's going down to mineral deficiencies and the balance and everything. And, so we have to kick up our game, get away from all the supplements, get away from all the basic ultra-processed foods so that we can then, our body can start healing itself. That's the whole purpose. The body's designed to regenerate. And when we regenerate, we feel good. When we feel good, we party.
Some of us party even if we don't feel good. like Juan over there.
Yeah, I party to feel good.
You probably do. So why are you doing drugs and not herbals?
Oh, yeah, go for it, Bill. Let them have it.
There's a lot of good things that are out there, that you can use herbally that aren't going to kill your gut to start with, that aren't going to mess up your brain, and if you're taking it orally, how's it getting to your little toe? That's killing everything in between.
It affects the entire body.
I think he should take a big shot and shoot it right into his toe. That'll stop him from taking drugs.
That's right.
It's less fun that way, though.
So here's my big pipe peeve and probably Bill's rant is why all of a sudden now the stuff we ate when we were kids is now superfoods or organic and you pay more for that. I'm really confused. Why do we need superfoods? Why can't we just have food back?
Well, that's true, and a lot of it is government regulation. They're trying to overregulate everything, and if it's good for you, it's banned. The number of plants that we've moved from being edibles to ornamentals for landscaping to then banning in cities is because of influence by the government and, of course, by special interests. Same thing with on the meat side. All the vax that they give, all the hormones, all the drugs, basically telling them how to raise them on corn and soy, so that they subsidize that and make it more expensive on the naturally raised stuff. And it's just a cascade that limits our choices. Basically, we're being told how to live, when to live, where to live. And
so it's a control issue.
I want to know why they don't ban Rebel if they're banning things that are good for you. Does that mean Rebel's bad for you?
It depends on your personality, I guess. It may be good for some people and not others.
Well, here's the interesting. Yeah, here's what I'd like to know. Interestingly enough, the stuff that's good for you is banned here, but it's not banned in Europe. And the stuff that's banned for you here is approved here and banned in Europe. How does that happen?
Again, it's control. They just try to control differently over there. I actually had a visitor last week, and we were talking. He had read some of my articles, and I sent him over, of course, to watch our shows. And he says, I finally met somebody in this world, in the United States, anyway, that actually knows a little bit about health. And so we're talking a little bit, and he tells me he's a retired pediatrician. Never practiced in the United States, practiced in Europe. He says, there's no comparison. He says, everything that we did over in Europe is banned here. And that's why we have so many problems. I mean, it's just the way they control things. And, let's face it, our government is basically nothing more than a money laundering scheme at this point in time. Who pays the most money? And the European market just isn't big enough to support it. We got a lot more fools here in the United States.
Did you say a lot more fools here?
Yes.
That's what caught Rebel's attention. The whole time I was trying to figure out if she just blended into her background and was frozen. But then as soon as you said the word fools, like she lit up like a Christmas light.
Hey, they're all around us, as you know. I watched something yesterday, an interesting topic, that certain land values in Texas are going right in the toilet. And basically what they are is basically the big hunting ranches and the game ranches and that sort of thing, that because they've detected a disease in deer, the government's now going in and testing the wildlife. And if anything comes up like not healthy, they ban not only hunting there, the sale of meat, but also transport of it. I mean, you can't take your healthy animals and put them on another piece of property. And the banks are, because that's your asset, basically, is wildlife. That's what they put up for collateral. They can't get loans. Their loans are being called in. They're losing their property, even though it's been in their family for multiple generations, sometimes hundreds of years. It's just that government overreach.
Well, that's like with Juan when he traveled out of the country. When he was coming back, they wouldn't let him back in because of his goldfish.
Guppies, but yeah.
Didn't have the right paperwork for it, huh? But getting back to health, I mean, it's all about superfoods. When we're controlling the food chain, if you will, what can be produced, what can't be produced, it just makes it harder and harder and harder. And of course, that's a lot of the expense, because some of these things are in very, very short supply. Finding a good steak today is almost impossible unless you go to a top restaurant, because that's the only place they're sold.
Or Rachel's in West Palm Beach.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one.
Yeah, they have the
But
meats.
also, I mean, wild caught fish, different herbs and botanicals to clean yourself out, clean out your pets. That's an important part because, and I'm glad that we banned chemtrails here in the state of Florida because they evidently there was a few stragglers that have been multiplying like crazy for the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. It's just impossible to stay healthy unless you really, really work hard at it. And we've been through it. We've seen, in our childhood, my childhood, a lot of dinners and meals were soups and stews and things like that, where there were a lot of herbals and botanicals added to it, sometimes for flavor, sometimes to keep us healthy and going. So these are really true superfoods, and of course, clean foods, raw milk, raw dairy, raw honey, are among the things that are basically demonized every single day.
Yeah, and it's funny because you go to like these healthy places, and you find out they're bullshit too, to be blunt.
You mean that the health food stores that have no food in them?
Yeah, or the restaurants that claim to have a healthy menu, or the restaurants that claim to be healthy, or, I walked into a place yesterday down in Lauderdale. Was it yesterday? No, the day before yesterday in Lauderdale. And it was supposed to be a healthy place. So I asked them if they had anything sugar-free, and the answer was no. How do you say you're a healthy place if you have nothing that's sugar-free? That's what I want to know.
Exactly. It's part of it is, again, government control. They're not even looking at the labeling laws anymore.
I think it's a marketing thing, too.
A marketing thing, yes, exactly. It's a lot of marketing. They're not being held accountable for what they put on that package. So much of it doesn't have legal standing anyway. Natural, tell me what natural means.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second and back up to something you said before about fish. So the most popular fish in the United States today is not healthy at all.
Yeah.
It's not even natural at all. Okay? And before you go, Bill, because I know I'm going to ask our pipe nuts here. And I changed her name because of the background, because it looks like she's broadcasting live from the Louisiana State Penitentiary or something. Bricknut.
Yes.
Did you even notice I changed your name way back? Okay.
I tend to just let you do what you're going to do.
Okay. Bricknut. What type of fish am I talking about?
Salmon?
But thank you for playing. There are real salmon in the wild. Okay.
Yeah.
Ron, let's see if you know, because, your people are great fishermen.
Are they? I didn't know that.
I'm just talking about people from West Palm Beach.
I mean, I guess I'll guess tilapia.
Ding, ding, ding. See, I knew he was smarter than the rest of us. I don't know if it's because he's from West Palm Beach or something, but yes, ding, ding, ding. Absolutely. Did you know that, Rebel, that actually you can't find tilapia in the wild?
Nope. I don't go fishing, so.
Yeah, you're never going to catch a tilapia, I'll tell you that.
That's right.
Tell us more about that, Pet Health Guru.
Well, the interesting thing is, of course, that's all farm raised. They're basically a hybrid. And the way they constructed in Southeast Asia, and a lot of the so-called fishing communities, which are fish farm communities, they basically take a part of the swamp, they fence it in, they put a structure on top of it with a mesh floor, and they actually raise their chickens above the fish, and the fish are eating all the chicken poop.
Nice. That kind of
Appetizer.
reminds me when I was in Bali. Okay. Did you know that the most popular, best coffee in the world comes from poop?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that one that cat eats and poops it back out.
It's not a
It's
cat.
not a cat. Okay. God, you Louisiana people, you just think everything's a cat. It's what I forgot what it's called. It's like
It has a weird name.
It starts with an L,
Yeah.
a Lopac or something. It's something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, look at a lot of the artificial colors and flavors that we have come from insects or different glands.
They
of
have
different
good
animals.
protein, though. Insects have good protein. Okay.
Yeah.
And-
If you're a bird.
Well, like as example, when I went to Mexico City, Juan told me to make sure that I eat the grasshopper tacos and the ant larvae tacos.
I actually never mentioned the ant larva. That was actually from your date in Mexico.
Oh yeah. That's true. That's true. You only mentioned the grasshopper tacos, right?
Right.
Okay, but that's an insect, right?
Yep, it sure
Correct.
is.
So I mean, and then how about in Louisiana? What kind of delicacies do you have there, like that are delicious like that?
As far as bugs,
Yeah, or any other weird thing that you wouldn't wanna
alligator.
eat. That's not weird. It's an animal. Come on.
You couldn't get those for a long time up in New York, until they started finding them in the sewer system.
Yeah. Well, and those are the tasty alligators too, because they have toxic waste in the flavoring, and there is a place.
All the homeless people that they ate.
Exactly. And okay, here's something that I bet you Brick Nut definitely doesn't know, and I'll bet you even Studio Nut doesn't know, but you probably do because you're closer to it. There is a place down by the port, okay, Port Everglades, where you can go fishing and catch yourself some like three-eyed fish and stuff like that. You aware of that, Bill? That area?
Yeah. Unfortunately, worldwide, there's tons of those. And again, it goes back to the same control thing. They allow certain people to dump certain chemicals. We end up with these mutations. And, depending on who's doing the fishing, they may just go ahead and eat them anyway. Next
Right.
eyeball or two doesn't matter.
I mean, you're not eating the eyeballs anyway, so.
I know, so it doesn't matter.
eat the
Yeah, it
eyeball.
doesn't matter. The green glow doesn't matter either. Like that, it looks good at the sunset. Like if you're having a sunset dinner.
Well, too. I mean, that's it. That makes it easier when you're fishing as well at night. You've got that green glow.
And speaking of superfoods, okay, here's something that like puzzles me. How come all of a sudden there's these foods that are considered superfoods now that you and I never even knew about as kids? Like, I never heard of quinoa.
Again, those are some of the ancient grains that were actually banned. Sorghum's another one that was actually that'll outpace and outperform corn. But
Is that why they were banned?
they were actually banned because they are such a superfood in growing. But you don't need to buy commercial seed. You don't have to buy commercial fertilizer or any of the pesticides that they use. The chemical companies have just, they changed agriculture, and anything that'll grow naturally, they don't want. They don't make any money on
that
it.
doesn't make anybody money. Come on, that's ridiculous. Why would you
I
do
know.
that? Okay, so we have one of the listeners that is asking you a very specific question.
Yes. Okay, some of the superfoods that we can find in nature and sometimes considered herbal. We can start out, of course, on not an actual herb, but a part of a plant. Bee pollen is excellent for a lot of things. Energy and, of course, cleansing. Things like spirulina, chlorella, different anti-parasitic things like wormwood, black walnut hull to get rid of the parasites that we all have. And then you can go into a whole plethora.
Wait. Slow down. What's that last one called? Because I need to eat those to get rid of Rebel.
That would be wormwood or black walnut hull. I'll get rid of all parasites.
Let's go out to dinner, Rebel. You can make boudin balls with that, whatever he's saying.
There you go. But, and everything from, relieving stress, valerian, chamomile. We've got a bunch of different things for hormones. Epimedium for the guys and maca for the women to help balance out those hormones.
I have a question.
All that stuff.
Maca, yeah, I had a bunch of smoothies with maca in it. Do you have to do the Macarena when you eat maca?
I haven't learned it yet, so I can't actually tell you. But it looks like the rebels over there doing it. So
no, she's just doing this. Like she thinks she's in the 60s and every dance is you just do that, or the 70s. It's like this, Rebel. You gotta do the.
It's the.
Juan knows it.
Well, his people can dance much better than us. That's all I can. I go every Friday night.
Beach people, huh?
Yes, exactly. I go every Friday night to the West Palm Beach people place, and they have a live West Palm Beach band that plays live West Palm Beach music. It's similar to Latin music, but it's West Palm Beach music.
Oh. But yeah, I mean, there's so many superfoods out there, that are very, very specific. Spirulina and chlorella, they've been using it forever for detox. And, the fact of the matter is, as I mentioned before, all these chemtrails and everything else, we are being poisoned every single moment of every single day. Every breath is bringing in poison. And unless you get rid of it, cleaning out the filters primarily, the liver, the kidney, the lymphatic system. And with the lymphatic system, I mean, we need to be dancing more because that moves it around. The liver, got to clean it out. Otherwise, all these other problems show up. It throws off the whole body. And, I got migraines. Well, that's because your liver's plugged up. I get my big toe, my little toe hurts. That's because your liver's plugged up.
Poor baby.
But every problem goes back to those same basic things, the hormones, the enzymes. And, of course, our water is highly, treated and bad for us. And, of course, if you're drinking bad water, dead water, if you will, how do you think that's going to help your body? Your blood flow is going to be restricted. We're dehydrated to start with. And, it's, good, clean, ionized water is actually a superfood as well.
So I have a question. If something my dad used to eat all the time at Lester's Diner is a superfood, can you guess what I'm going to ask?
I have a good idea.
Let's hear your guess.
They're probably bacon.
No.
Oh?
I'll give you a hint. It is supposedly healthy, which is why he was eating it, and it relates to something you were just talking about.
Something you were just talking about. Obviously, liver.
Okay. Yep. Bing, ding, 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 ding. We have a winner.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, because most humans are copper deficient. Copper is the electrical mode that moves our energy throughout our whole body. That's found in beef liver in large amounts, also in good ribeye steaks. But it's also got usable iron. Iron and copper have a tendency to bond together, and it gets hidden, buried in your thing. Nobody out there is anemic. We've got 1,000 times more iron in our body than we ever need. But
so
yet when they do a blood test, they're testing your blood. It's stored in the muscle.
So what you're trying to tell me is that my people, okay, are smart and healthy because we eat liver.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, we have to throw in, some of these foods that are criticized because of cholesterol.
What's with this, dude? hold on a second. What's with this dude? I thought it was about the conversation, but check it out. Read it out loud, Rebel.
As a barber, I love a man on cam. It is every stage of beard growth.
You know what? You know what was good about that? Once again, we have shown the educational system of Louisiana.
I can't see that far away, so if I got all the words, I'm lucky I did it.
Okay, so is that a superfood? Is our beards a superfood?
That one I cannot attest.
I think the better question is.
I've never nibbled on one.
I think Rebel has, but I think the better question would be: is there a superfood that can help your beard grow out more evenly? Because I know a lot of people that struggle with that.
Evenly, that's pretty much genetics. But anything that's going to be high in collagen will help your hair grow out a lot healthier and heavier. And that copper is important because if you're copper deficient, your hair color will be like mine. Great. That's a copper deficiency.
Oh, well, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go, since they're not making pennies anymore, everybody turn your pennies into the pipe man. I'm going to eat as many pennies as I can to get rid of the gray.
I'll pay for that.
Forget dye in my hair. I'm just going to eat all the pennies in existence.
Look at
I will pay to see that. And I will pay you in pennies.
Okay, so we do have a serious response from Polar Knight. Said, good evening from Norway, and also said, no food can help that I know of. It is genetics.
It's epigenetic, basically. Genetics is not pure and simple. And that's where doctors and all these scientists get it wrong. Of course, the fact is we're doing these stupid RMNA vacs that are changing DNA. We are changing our DNA through chemical pollution, radiation in our foods. You know, like I mentioned earlier, the average supermarket egg has been run through Clorox or a chlorine solution plus other chemicals plus radiation. And yet eggs are a superfood if they're naturally raised. In fact, one of the biggest producers in the country has commercials running right now talking about their wide variety of eggs, from conventional to organic to free range to pasture raised. And
how do they keep them separated?
Well, they come off of different farms, obviously, that are doing different things.
Are we sure?
They still, even all those categories, they're still treated the same way when they hit the warehouse. So any good that the better ones might have had has disappeared.
I want to know what the hell background Rebel has now.
I think it's a Christmas thing.
Yeah, that's why I renamed you. I renamed her Italian Nut Job. Oh my God. Listen, I'm Italian and you're a disgrace to my people, Rebel.
Hardly.
All right. So, Bill, why don't you tell everybody how they can get in contact with you? Check out your website. Check out all your real food for pets. Check out all of your, advice and healthy products. And on top of it, check out your live radio show, TV show, and podcasts.
Absolutely. Of course, I'm normally hanging out at My Paleo Pet down in Pompano Beach, Florida, where we have a farm to table foods. We also have, of course, all our herbals, our specialty entrees for your dogs and cats, your naturally raised meats for yourself. I'm there. You can also order online at mypaleopet.com. Listen to my podcast every week, and actually 24/7 worldwide on YouTube, the Pet Health Cafe. And, we try to bring out as much information as possible. Half the time, I don't know where this stuff comes from. It just comes out of me. It's like, I have an understanding.
It doesn't come from you. It doesn't come from you. It's because all of our pets have a voice, and we're all channeling it through you.
Exactly. So,
and we have one more comment from Norway, which I agree with. If this person in Norway was listening to the beginning of the show, they heard me talk about this. says, I don't eat American food. Most of everything made in the USA that are food contain things that are banned in most of the world. And we were talking about that in the beginning of the show.
Absolutely.
And including Rebel, she's banned in the rest of the world too, because, what I won't even go there. Okay, so.
But 90% of the items in the supermarket are not food.
I know.
Some sort of composition.
That's why I love when I go over to Europe. Here's a funny thing. Whenever I'm in Europe or Costa Rica, I don't feel the need to eat a lot.
No.
Which that's a sign that you're eating healthy. And basically, when I come back to the U.S., I feel like I want to eat all the time. And I do gain a few pounds. And I'm not big. So we're not talking about, right. There's not much for me to gain. Okay. And I am here to tell you, as somebody who travels the world, that the least healthy that I ever am is when I'm at home. How about that? And that's because of our food. And that, you know what? That holds true for pets. So everybody check out the Pet Health Guru. Keep checking out this segment every Monday on the Positively Pipeman part of the Adventures of Pipeman. We will talk about pet health, and the pet health also applies to human health. It even applies to Rebel health, whichever you want. And Rebel?
Yes.
What was the significance of your background that you changed towards the end of the show? It doesn't make sense.
Oh, I got a pardon from the warden.
Oh.
He said I didn't have to be up against the wall anymore.
Okay. And is it because of something you did because you're the warden's sweetheart? Is that what you were trying to tell us?
Well, he doesn't like me to discuss those kind of things.
So that's how you got your freedom.
Right.
So if anybody here can guess why Rebel has that background there, DM me the answer on all my socials, and you'll be entered to win tickets to Sonic Temple Festival and Welcome to Rockville Festival. And we will announce the correct answer next week if she remembers. Maybe if she writes it on one of her 1,000 Post-it notes on her desk that I have no organization whatsoever, maybe she'll remember. But meanwhile... Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I have a Post-it note too, but I can't hold it up because it's on my computer organized. So, any final words, Pet Health Guru, before we go to the next segment and give away some tickets?
Contact me for information. We'll get you set up on a healthy program. And it's really easy if you just follow the rules. No problem there.
And I'll tell you what, anybody here listening to, you go to Pet Health Cafe and you go and check out My Paleo Pet and you like and share and all that stuff, and you too will be entered to win tickets to these festivals playing in this commercial coming in about 10 seconds. So, Pet Health Guru, thanks again for your wealth of knowledge and instructing us about how we and our pets can live happier, healthier, longer lives. Unfortunately, it will be have to be outside of the USA. Yeah. No, if you go to Pet Health Guru, he can help you live healthily in the USA. And make sure to check out the podcast because it is badass. I'm just going to say it like that. And you know what? Now we're going to go do some talking about business too. But first, we need to run a couple commercials for festivals in case you don't know what these festivals are and who the lineup is and whether you should enter to win. You're going to find out right now.
The Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival returns May 14th through 17th with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Bring Me the Horizon, and Shinedown. Plus, Pierce the Veil, Good Charlotte, The Offspring, Sublime, Godsmack, Breaking Benjamin, Marilyn Manson, and so many more. Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio, May 14th to 17th. Passes on sale now for as low as $1 down at sonictemplefestival.com. Welcome to Rockville. Returns to Daytona International Speedway May 7th through 10th with Foo Fighters, My Chemical Romance, Guns N' Roses, and Bring Me the Horizon. Plus, Turnstile, Five Finger Death Punch, The Offspring, Breaking Benjamin, A Day to Remember, Godsmack, and so many more. Welcome to Rockville, May 7th through 10th. Passes on sale now for as low as $1 down at welcometoRockville.com.
Hey, you're listening to The Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman, W4CY Radio. And once again, it's our Positively Pipeman segment. And we are here with our resident business expert, Michael Barbarita, which is going to give us some more powerful business strategies. So welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. So today, one of the things that business owners should try to do is they should try to buy the building that they're in. It's easier said than done. There's no question about that. But there certainly are a number of advantages. One is that the business will pay the rent, which will pay the mortgage as a result of that. And of course, by the way, your business should be a separate entity from the building. You should never buy a building within your business because of liability. If somebody sues you, you don't want them to go after the building. So, So that's always different. And so you're always the landlord of a building you own, as well as the tenant. You're both, because your business is the tenant. So with the business paying the mortgage, it really serves as a tremendous advantage to own a building. Not to mention the tax benefits from the depreciation and so forth. But there are a lot of benefits to it. So. But here's the dilemma. Some of the commercial properties out there have gotten really out of control from a price standpoint. But that doesn't mean you should stop looking. You should continue looking, because there's a couple of things that you could do. Number one, if you like the building that you're in, the next time that your lease renews, you should add an option to buy and see if the landlord would go for it. And make sure that you're clear on the terms and the pricing. There's a number of ways to skin that cat. I've had a couple of clients who I've helped negotiate a lease with an option to buy with. The landlord has been open to it. You have to give them an attractive offer sometimes, and sometimes you can get it at just regular market value. But most of the times you're projecting what the market value will be most of the time. But that's one way to try to get an opportunity to buy a building. And by the way, if the building has other tenants, that's just as attractive. It's not that it retracts from that attractiveness. You are more of a landlord that way, because you have to make sure you fill tenants and so forth constantly, or as tenants leave. But it's a very valuable. Owning a building with your business is a very valuable thing. And so the other thing is, if you call 5 banks who do SBA financing, you potentially could get 5 different answers on the structure of the financing. For example, if you negotiate seller financing, there are some banks that will allow you, because the SBA will, to reduce the down payment. Now, the down payment for commercial real estate with the SBA is normally 10%. But if you could get some significant, or relatively significant, doesn't have to be overwhelming, but relatively significant financing, you can get a lower down payment. But it depends. Sometimes the bank won't let you. Even though the SBA will, the bank won't. Because you're dealing with 2 different finance companies, unfortunately. when you're dealing with the SBA. You're dealing with the bank, who has their set of rules and regulations, and then you're dealing with the SBA. So you have to get very creative, and you might have to shop around when it comes to buying a building, because some of the prices for commercial real estate, especially in the New England area where I am, are really outrageous at this point. And so it's very difficult for buyers to get into a situation. But you have to be creative. You have to potentially utilize option to buy. And by the way, you could do options to buy to a rate. You don't have to be the tenant in a particular building. You could always do an option to buy with a particular seller if they're not ready to sell now. So it's just another way to go about it. You have to get creative in this market because it's very difficult to get in, to get a piece of a commercial real estate, especially. So those are the things that I wanted to point out for anybody who's faced with that dilemma. They should be trying to definitely purchase, but also they have to understand, and they probably already do, that they have to get creative. And there's different ways to negotiate a purchase, and options is one, and seller financing is another. There's a big advantage for seller financing on the seller side. Sure, they're taking the risk, but they do have a mortgage on the property, so they have security. And if they believe in their price, their security is probably, they got to think their security is good. But they also have tax benefits. They're able to defer taxes with a installment sale methodology. So there's advantages to the seller to take back paper, as they call it, and take back financing. So and I've seen situations where the seller takes back 100% of the financing because of those tax advantages. So it's not off the wall. Certainly, there's some sellers who are just staunch. But they're also limiting the number of buyers that could buy the building, because it's not that easy to sell commercial real estate, although it's in great demand. It's not that easy to sell because the building has to be just right for that business.
Well, and I have a question for you that probably listeners would be wondering.
Okay,
because it's true in the real estate market right now, the residential real estate in Florida, that anybody that has any kind of financial savvy is going to tell you not to buy right now, and you're better off renting. A couple years ago, you were better off buying than you were renting, so that switches. So what if somebody's thinking, well, with commercial real estate being so out of sight right now, isn't it more cost effective to rent and more cost prohibitive and more liability to own, and more of a risk because you could be buying it at the peak and the business loses its value, which may also cause you to have to charge lower rents or any variable like that?
I agree, but that's where terms come in. Terms are everything. In other words, just because you have a seller willing to finance doesn't mean you have to make payments right away. There are ways to structure a transaction so that it could be very favorable for you. Now, obviously, if they don't do it, they don't do it. But to your point, you're right. Because of the high cost of commercial real estate right now, it is better to rent. But that's why I talk about the lease options. Yeah, you're renting, but then you're in a position to buy down the road. And I would start planting, even though they cost money, some token amounts for the most part. But I would start planting seeds and looking to potentially have an option to buy on these properties, and put down.
And then by the time you're ready to buy, it'll be the right time to buy.
That's right. That's right, because it's all cyclical. It's always cyclical. And you're right. Right now is probably a good time to rent, but I think that there's creative ways to structure a deal, because at the end of the day, I can't tell you how many times I've seen it, Dean, where the retirement of a person was the fact that they bought the building. not the value of the business, because they were one-arm paper hanger, or, their business really didn't make enough money to be able to sell it up, 3 times earnings or whatever it is. It was their building that ended up being their retirement package.
Yeah.
Their building. That happens.
That makes so much sense. And like, even as a perfect story of that, many years ago in the beginning of starting this network, my daughter worked for me, and we had and somebody else that worked for me that also happened to be a family friend for many years, but she was in radio for many years. That's why she was working here. And so she knew my daughter since she was little. Her daughter and my daughter were like best friends when they were little. And basically, she was saying to this my daughter was saying to this person, oh, yeah, like, I'm just going to take over the business, when my dad either retires or passes or something. And the woman said to her, like, well, because, my daughter wasn't acting like an owner. She was acting more like an employee, but then I'm going to take over the business. And right now, there is no business without your dad. So if you want to take over the business, you're going to have to get more involved and have more of a vested interest and learn the business, because I bring this up because a lot of kids think that they're just going to take over their parents' business.
I know that's such the wrong thought process.
Right. And perfect example is I was manager when I was going to college. I was manager of this pool and spa place called Harrow's. They had been in business for 60 years, and they were very well known. And the kids, there were like multiple partners, like 3 or 4 partners. All of them retired. All their kids took over, and that business doesn't exist today. Like a 60-year-old business that just disappears because kids think it's like just an inheritance. They just have to take it over and everything will run smoothly, and not realize that,
That's not the case.
It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And you have to have the mindset to be able to deal with it, because if you don't, you're just gonna give up quick and end it. And it's going to be worthless to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
it's
well,
terrible.
As usual, you give the greatest advice. And yes, I am a believer you should buy the building because, listen, real estate, whether it be residential, commercial, is still one of the best investments that, you hold it long enough, you're probably not going to lose money.
Right. And if you do the deal right, the tenants, which you might be one, are going to pay the mortgage.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it really is, in a lot of respects, a no-brainer. Now, there's responsibilities. We talked about repairs and maintenance and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely. But that has to be all figured into the numbers when you analyze the opportunity.
So how do people talk to you and find out more about that specifically? And maybe you can coach them in the proper strategies in order to buy a building.
I love that opportunity. They go to nextstepcfo.net and click on the contact page. You can also download my book for free called Powerful Business Strategies. They can, when they get on the contact page, they could go to the message section. They fill out the form. In the message section, they can type the words "buying a building." I'd be glad to talk to them about it, or want to buy a building, and I'll be glad to talk to them about it.
Nice. Well, I definitely think they should reach out to you because, we've been doing a lot of these episodes. I think this one's been like one of the most important ones because it's one that most people don't think of. Right. People think of a lot of the other strategies we were talking about, they've heard of it, but I don't know many business owners that even contemplate that they should be buying the building.
Right. No, that's right. It's something they should consider, and especially when their lease renews, they should talk to the owner of the building about an option. Yeah,
exactly. Well, love it. Love that you're here on the Positively Pipeman segment. And thanks once again for helping our listeners. And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman here on W4CY Radio.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.